What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another movie review. I'm Chase Lee, reviewing for DallasMovieScreenings.com, and the movie I want to take a look at right now is Dirt Music. Now, this one comes from Samuel Goldwyn Films, directed by Gregor Jordan, based on a novel by Tim Winton, and it's set with the backdrop of Western Australia, so yeah, I already know the scenery is going to be great. And this one is an impassioned tale of love and grief from characters Georgie and Lou as they start to fall in love, and we get to know a little bit more about them along their romantic journey. Georgie, played by Kelly MacDonald, and Lou, played by Garrett Hedlund. They are definitely opposites in personality, so it makes it, even more of a... fucking shit. God damn it. All right. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another movie review. I'm Chase Lee, reviewing for DallasMovieScreenings.com, and the movie I want to take a look at right now is Dirt Music. Now, this one comes from Samuel Goldwyn Films, directed by Gregor Jordan, based on a novel by Tim Winton, and this one is set with the backdrop of Western Australia, so you already know the scenery is going to be great, even as a bare minimum if this movie is awful. And this one is an impassioned tale of love and grief from characters Georgie and Lou as they find their way around themselves romantically and just really kind of developing this deep relationship as we get to see it unfold on screen. Georgie being played by Kelly MacDonald and Lou being played by Garrett Hedlund. So, going into this, I didn't even know what it was about. Didn't see a trailer. The wonderful reps that send these emails out to all the critics and stuff. They're just like, do you want to do this one? And I'm sure a lot of them get turned down because they're not well known, they're not a big name, they're not going to draw traffic to their site or whatever. But that's not the way I play it. I'm usually game for whatever any rep wants to send me in terms of for review purposes. And so I saw the poster to this movie and it looked terrible. I was just like, this looks like a Nicholas Sparks film, but I'm not one to shy away from romance films. I like romance films quite a bit, so I was like, you know what, I'll give this one a shot. It could be something unique, and it's made in Australia. It's not made here, so maybe there's gonna be a little bit more depth to it, because some of the romance films here in America, a bit shallow. So lightly put it. But so yeah, I was just going into this one blind, didn't really like the poster, and you know what, I was pleasantly surprised. It's not bad. It actually gets better as the movie goes along. It kind of starts out a little rocky, but I think it finds its footing, and it really kind of lands on this like sweet and devastating emotional note that you desperately need for these types of films in the third act. And I think this movie completely delivers with some amazing performances. I do think that these two actors carried this movie and the script and everything, and just made it worth watching to see them grow with their relationship. So, overall, as a story of love and, people from two different backgrounds. I mean, Georgie is married at this point in her life. Lou is kind of a wild card. There's a lot that has happened in this man's life, so you have no idea where his headspace is at. So there's a lot of yin and yang going on, but their relationship is genuine and their chemistry is there. And the overall story, it's fine. It's not anything that's surprising. There's not any anything unique about this. It kind of presents itself as a I would say it's exactly like a novel romance. This is what it kind of feels like, and there's nothing really wrong with that. I think it's delivered exceptionally. So there's that. But what I like about it the most is that at the very beginning, their relationship is off to the races. It is super fast, and they have this, genuine chemistry that they just cannot resist. They cannot be pulled apart. It's there, and the romance is really palpable. But what I really liked is the further we get down in the story, the more we get to know about them. Because in the description of the film, it is a tale of love and grief. And so there's a lot of baggage that these characters carry with them throughout the entire film. And so we get those sweet scenes, those kind of warm and touching scenes of these characters breaking down in front of one another. They have to be emotionally vulnerable so we can get to know them a little bit more, and so they can also be open to their partner, because you don't want to be emotionally shunted. Like, you need to express yourself, you need to show that you have a lot going on, and it does affect you. It's not something that you can just kind of breeze by and this relationship's going to fix everything. There's a lot of stuff going on, and maybe talking it out with someone is what's going to get you to heal. And, that's what these two kind of use each other for. Georgie has a lot of stuff in her background, that she's trying to get over, as well as, try to skirt around her marriage that she's currently in. It's not fun to watch, but, her husband that she's married to is not really receptive with much of anything. He's just kind of cold. And so I get why she strayed away and found someone who is very passionate about her and her dreams and goals and everything. And so she finds that in Lou. And Lou is trying to find just anything to grasp onto. And, he does seem kind of like that rebel, that loner, that survivor. He just kind of does his thing. He goes by his own way. Like, you just can't mess with him. He has his own thing going on in his life. But she stops him a little bit. And she makes him kind of reevaluate some of the emotional baggage that he has on his shoulders, and really kind of just let it go, essentially, and not hold on to stuff that is just damaging emotionally, mentally, and physically. And so, as it kind of progresses, we get to know a little bit more about Lou's backstory and like where he came from, some of the people in his life before this point. We get to even know about Georgie's husband and how he actually has a lot on his shoulders, surprisingly, because he is kind of an a-hole. And so when you kind of get to see a little bit more of the emotional vulnerability from him, you kind of understand it a little bit. You're like, hey, you probably could have acted better, but I kind of get it. And so this is a film about damaged people and really kind of just finding their way through life, and then ultimately finding each other and really kind of healing one another through the power of love. So there you go. But yeah, as the movie kind of progresses, we get to know a little bit more about the characters, a little bit more about their inner thoughts, what they're dealing with. And so the emotional swell of the third act, especially given like what happens, and like, it's just basically like a search party situation. I thought it was really effective. And that kind of bleeds into my next point as to why I think this movie does work, is the performances. It's just absolutely, I think, amazing. Kelly MacDonald and Garrett Hedlund, they, first of all, like I said, they have the chemistry that is there, and it's really nice to see it on screen. The romance is definitely alive, and it's lovely to watch. But man, when they get to some of the emotional stuff and some of the inner character work, Garrett is swinging for the fences. Kelly is also swinging for the fences, and you start to feel for them a little bit more, because, like I said, at the beginning, it's a bit rocky. The romance is very fast, and like they're just moving really quickly in the story. But the moments where they slow down and we get to understand them is where the movie shines. And there's a point in the story where it happens, and then it keeps happening. So we get to know them on a deeper level. We get to see it kind of evolve in front of our eyes. And it really just kind of takes its time with it. So it is very fascinating to me. Like, at the beginning, it's kind of, it's quickly paced, but then it just kind of slows down a little bit. That definitely, it helps that it does that. If it was just a quick kind of romance throughout the entire thing, I would definitely be unkind to this film. But it kind of slowing down and getting you some really great character work in, it really makes the performances shine, and they commit 100,000, 10,000, billion, gajillion %. They are absolutely amazing to watch. I mean, there's several moments where they both have their scenes, and even I started tearing up a bit, and I was just like, okay, that was really good. I'll give them that. So, another thing that's just a kind of a given, it's set in Australia. I think you know where I'm going with this. Stunning cinematography. The landscaping, the saturation of colors. They're just so vibrant, and they just make you want to go to Australia. It makes me so angry when I watch these movies, and I'm like, I just want to be at that location. Like right now, it's such a beautiful looking movie, which is a great, kind of compliment to the story. It's just a beautiful love story. So, if you can have the great scenery of Australia with your movie, then I think it's pretty much a halfway win right there to making your movie good, just being in Australia. But it does make a difference when your landscaping is just absolutely stunning to look at. So that's about it. There's really nothing more to discuss. Nothing really good or bad. It's just like those are the three prominent things about it. And overall, I didn't really hate it. So I'll kind of start off with that with my grade. I've been kind of battling whether to give it like a C+ or a B-, but you know what? I think there's a lot of good stuff in it that I'll bump it up to that B-. It's right in that thin line between both of them. But I think if you're in the mood for a romance film, you want something different with some very heavy Australian accents. Some of the scenes I needed the subtitles. That's just because my hearing's bad. But yeah, if you're in the mood for a romance film, it's going to be a little emotionally straining in some scenes. There is some really kind of dark moments in there. It's not like too much to where you have to turn it off, but that is your bag. I think it hits VOD this Friday, July 17th. So check it out if this is your bag. So let me know what you think of Dirt Music down below. I read all the comments, even if I don't reply to all of them. But that will do it for this review, guys. If you are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and that way you get up to date on any reviews I do. If you're more of a podcast person and you want this in audio form, you can do just that. I have a Real Me and Colin movie podcast feed where you can get all these reviews in audio form. If you don't want to see my ugly mug, I totally get it. But I do record both these at the same time, so you have the option. But that will do it for this review, guys. I'm Chase Lee for DallasMovieScreenings.com, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.